do something about it. Yeah.
Harris, you come in just from there where Ken has said we end up branding people names. We end up maybe harassing people just because of the difference in political view. Do you think as Kenyans we have a role to play to ensure that we bring our politicians together? Or do you think in a way as Kenyans or as normal citizens we can influence the political class to come together and agree on terms?
Yeah, absolutely. We have the power to influence the leaders that we have, because it's the fact that we are the ones who put them into that position. We are the ones who elected them. And I think Kenyans need to realize the power they hold in the government. I mean, the common citizens, the common wananchi need to realize that they're the ones who are responsible for the actions of these people. And once they realize their strength, they can remove anyone from office and they can call for any action to be taken against any person. The thing that I struggle to understand is how most people idolize political leaders and just do as they say instead of like correcting them when they disagree with them. I think if people started to correct political leaders instead of just agreeing to everything they say, we will have a different government, the government that will like support us, our health, education of the children and all that, and making the country a better place. A good example where citizens actually tried to take action was the recent one, the IMF thing. I think that was commendable, where citizens were like, we are tired of the government taking loans all the time, yet we are the ones to pay for it, and it's getting out of hand right now. I think that was a brave movement, although I heard recently that the initiators of that movement were held responsible. But I don't think it's a wrong decision to hold someone accountable for their actions, because you're the one who put him in that position, and the decisions that he or they make affect you directly. So I think citizens need to understand their power and take action against the leaders that they feel are not serving them well. Yeah.
Thank you, Umar. Just there, you talked of like citizens realizing the power that they have, but you also realize that if that happens and then citizens decide to take actions, they end up being harassed. Like just the case you said, like people are trying to stop the IMF from lending money to the Kenyan government, but they ended up being arrested and arraigned in court. So, CJ, do you think what do you suggest that should be our motivator as youth, for example, that we should not fear? What should we do exactly so that at least we can hold the government accountable? Because we understand we can be against the government, or we can try to like correct the government in a positive way, but we end up being in trouble, like the youth end up being in trouble. So what do you think like are some of the best ways we can use to approach in correcting the government?
I think this is where we call for smart moves, having more smart moves towards how we approach things and how we can maybe help young people first. We are young people. This panel is made up of young people. It just needs 1, 2, 3 few young people who can be able to stand up, have their values. Really, I'm glad that I have some people who are doing law here, other political, something science, and some bold journalists you are here. So it's upon us and other people that as we do study these things, we're not just studying to get that final grade and to have that prestige of saying I am a lawyer or something. We are actually learning and understanding like what is wrong, what went wrong, what will be wrong in future, and having these things at the back of our mind. Once we get into these positions of power, and maybe we might not get into these positions of power, we may use our intellectual ability to try and train the other people who don't have the same benefit as us. So most young people, actually what they want is someone to look up to as maybe an example. And it might not be easy. I understand that. Once you start speaking up, actually, I was talking to one of my friends. Once you have a very good idea on how to approach a problem, somebody will try to knock you in the knees so that you may not have the power to actually implement or do whatever you are saying. So I don't really know. We were actually asking ourselves, what other ways can we use not to actually disagree with them? It's agreeing with them in a polite manner, because in the end, I don't want to die like Tom Mboya. As much as I want to be the Pioma Gama Pinto of this era, I don't want to die when I've not seen the fruits of my labor. So how can I become this vocal, intellectual person without also colliding with the government? So I think we really need to come up with ways of how we can actually curtail these things in a very bold but really smart way. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me in figuring out that. It's a hard task, but I think we are up to it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. As you said, it is a collective responsibility, and that all of us as Kenyans, as youth, we need to come together and ensure we hold the government accountable, but in a more respectful and approachable way. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah.
Can I something on that? I think I will not entirely disagree with Joyce. I will agree partly with her and add something. I think it's quite obvious, and we have all heard this, that the best tool we have as citizens and as young people is our vote. Yeah, that one we know. And we have also heard that there is no bigger power than the citizens' power. But the problem in Kenya is the fact that the citizenry lives in the citizenry, let me say in Kiswahili, wako katika hali ya kwamba hawaelewi zile nguvu ambazo wako nazo, and so it is the politician again who comes and tells them this is what you are supposed to do and this is what you are supposed to do. But if as young people we take it upon ourselves to spread the political awareness to the rest of young people, and actually we rise up and say and demonstrate it through our vote, because the problem has been that a few young people who have got this knowledge, they know what they are supposed to do. And I have had discussions with a lot of people who say, actually, this is the wrong thing. What is happening is the wrong thing. But I have a job. I want to concentrate on my life. So I would rather just leave things the way they are. And that is the mentality that many good young people, brilliant ones, have. Those who had good ideas, but they are now normal. They are lawyers, they are doctors, and they are comfortable with what they are getting. But if now, as young people, we spread this knowledge, try and reach out to the young people. It might not be easy, but spreading the political awareness, if it means we go on the roads, but we can do that. But young people, we must just rise up and say it's enough and demonstrate it through our votes. We don't vote to punish a certain politician, but we vote for a certain idea. I think that is the way we can go.